Welcome to my guide on the first 20 turns for the new Deathmaster Snikch added in the Shadow and the Blade DLC. Now, I've done these videos in the past. Usually I accompany them with an overview video that does give you a nice summary of what this campaign is like. Unlike that video, this video is focused on the tactics, or at least a good strategy for accomplishing at least a good start to Deathmaster Snikch. I feel like every single campaign has its own narrative and its own way to play it, but the first 20 turns are typically very similar from every experience that I've seen when it comes to playing through all these campaigns. So what I'm going to go through today are those first 20 turns. We will not go through every turn by turn. I'm going to go through some details such as the good direction on your campaign, buildings, your army, skills, technology, diplomacy, so on and so forth. So the video will start out here in the first initial turns, and then at the end we will cut to the end of, or at least around the turn 25, turn 30 of my own personal campaign to show you either some mistakes that I've made that I've learned how to correct, or just to give you an idea of how all those strategies kind of play out. So to kind of really start out here, you're going to do the same thing you would do for any other campaign. You're going to manage your initial starting town. You want to first off build the hidden lair. Now this is because you're going to be focusing primarily on night runners and gutter runners. This is because Clan Eshin has a 200% increase on this, the upkeep of all non-Clan Eshin units. Clan rats with spears are not Clan Eshin units. You'll know if they're a Clan Eshin unit because you'll be able to take a look. Well, we'll take a look at it in a second here. We can't see it at this point because we're not in camp stance, but I'll show you in just a second here. So we'll embed this guy in here. As always, I would recommend that you do not auto-resolve these first fights. I'm just doing it to speed up these videos. Okay, that should not be a Pyrrhic victory. The auto-resolve for Skaven is quite skewed, and typically a good approach to this would be just to take some food first. In the initial portions of the game, enslaving is very strong for you so that you can get an increase on your food meter. You want your food meter to get some nice bumps into at least this level. You have an increase to your growth. So we'll just click enslave, and that'll give us our initial kind of turn there. We're going to move him back into our territory. So we're going to go into this a little bit more in detail towards the end of this video, but the first thing you should do at the end of your first turn, or one thing you should do at the end of your first turn, is go to your Shadowy dealings on the right, and click your Eshin Sorcerer, and just send him on a small heist. You're not going to lose him. You're just going to send him over here to Stutenberg, and what that's going to do is you're going to steal up to 1,000 from a settlement and reduce its income by 10% for 5 turns, and it takes a 10-turn cooldown before you can use this again. Now the big thing here is that you can use Shadowy deals or dealings to level up your agents without having to actually send them out to do their agent actions up close and personal. So it's a great way to kind of really landslide a lot of your experience on some of your characters or some of your agents. So we'll do that. Look at that small heist action successful. And as you take a look here, your heists will expand as you increase in your Shadowy deals or your schemes, as you unlock them. And we'll go through those as well. That's going to be covered in the latter half of this portion of this video. In fact, I'm going to save Shadowy dealings and clan contracts for that portion. So if you want to know more about them, you're going to want to jump to the end. So we'll close that, and that's going to give us, we'll get this little quest completed. That's hunky-dory. Level up our little bro. Now, this is a sorcerer. I always recommend you going down the yellow tree first, unless there's a very specific blue tree that you are focused on for that agent. But sorcerers, you always want to go down this tree first. Focus on Toxic Rain. It's going to be a very nice passive ability to have. Anytime you cast any spell from the Lore of Stealth, if you have Toxic Rain, then you're going to poison the map, or poison the entire map, map-wide poison. So it's quite nice. We'll do that, and we will go through Snikch skills in depth as well here. So the way that I recommend this is that you want to go down Route Marcher and get Ancient Cunning. Now the reason behind that is, we go here to the Grand Night Lord's Agitator. We can see that he gets a base success chance for ambush of plus 25. So we want to really take advantage of that. Ancient Cunning at its max level will give us a 30%. That's a total of 55% by the end of what? Rank 4, rank 5, once you max that out. So you want to go for Ancient Cunning first. Once you get Ancient Cunning, jump up here to your yellow line, get Tail Weapon, and then jump into Thick Skinned. Now the reason behind this is, sure, Deathmaster Snikch is really strong, but once you get him in prolonged combat, he can really die very fast. So you have to really keep an eye on him. This will at least help it so that if you don't have a chance to micro him as fast away from combat, or he does get surrounded a little bit too hard too fast, Thick Skin is going to give him 15 more armor, jumping him up to 45 base armor, which is going to be very nice to give you an additional insurance. This will all help out when you get stuff like, the Cloak of Shadows, which is going to increase your melee defense, so on and so forth. But once you get to level 8, you're going to want to jump down this personal line as fast as you can. Look at this. You're going to get an additional 10% success chance for your ambush, and units are going to get an additional penalty when they get ambushed by you, and they get a reduction to their leadership. So right out the gate, you're really going to get a huge value train from this one. Then you're going to go to Scurry Fast Quick to help out with your campaign movement. Now, I personally like this one, Conceal Hide Them. Now, what this does is it's going to increase the speed of all of your infantry units. This is going to allow your Night Runners and Gutter Runners to just kite everything in the game, and we'll show how this is going to stack. So for one, there's your 10% speed from just this ability, and we'll see how that stacks further in this skill tree alone. Contract Loopholes is nice because this allows you to get very, very high-ranking assassins and master assassins out the gate quickly. Also reduces the upkeep of your entire army. Just Dodge It helps out with his durability as well. And then lastly, Sabotage and Unrest is really going to help you out with public order and as well as sieges. Now, keep in mind though, so we get, where is that? Jump Scare is an additional 10%. That brings us to 65% ambush success chance. Now, in addition to the Cloak of Shadows, which you will get the quest to unlock at rank 5, is going to increase it by an additional 25%. So, all said and done, you can, I believe, get up to 100% success chance, or pretty damn close to it. I believe there is another thing on here that'll help you with that, but either way, you're getting up there pretty quickly. So you want to really take advantage of that as best you can. Your assassins can actually help out with success chance as well. So do keep in mind that you can have the chance to ambush success someone with very little problem. So ambushing is going to be the name of the game for you, since you're going to be focusing so much on your Gutter Runners and your Night Runners. Now, once you complete your personal line, jump back over here to your red line. Now, I recommend every single Lord, have at least one focus for their red line. So jump 1 point into Inspiring Presence. Now, you can do whatever you want here. Personal preference, though, go for Infiltrator. That's going to further increase your speed of your Night Runners and Gutter Runners by an additional 10%. So remember now, between Conceal, Hide Them, and this, that's a 20% bonus to your speed. Then just finish off your yellow line, going all the way down here to Deathmaster's Sigil, so that you can lock things down and really do a ton of damage against them. So you have a lot of really, really, really strong abilities with Deathmaster Snikch, but he also has a lot of really strong support abilities. In fact, actually, I'm so sorry. I would do the red line, finish off your blue line, so you can get Draftmaster, you can get Renowned and Feared, which is really good because it helps out as well with your campaign movement. Mine. You can do this. I don't really think it's as good. Wary will help out with your ambush defense chance and your enemy action success chance. I don't personally find this as useful, but Quartermaster I do. I think these are the two abilities you want in your blue line. Lightning Strike, so that you can further use your ambushes to even better advantage, and then Quartermaster to get that further 15% reduction in upkeep. So, quick recap. Blue line to Ancient Cunning, then get Thick Skinned, finish off your personal line, jump here to Infiltrator, finish off your blue line, then finish off your yellow line for your Deathmaster Snikch skills. And that really kind of gives you a really good idea on how to start out initially with him. Now, we take a look over here at the recruitment thing. You can see these are the units that are considered Clan Eshin. If this is grayed out, it is not a Clan Eshin unit. So we're building over here the Hidden Lair, and next turn we'll be able to fill out our army. We'll go over in that in a little bit. Now, we do have a research available, so let's go ahead and start specializing towards hit and run. This is going to further increase the speed of our all infantry units, but mainly of our Gutter Runners and Night Runners. So, all said and done, by I think rank 10, you should have a total of 30% speed on all of your infantry units. Of course, focus mainly on your, well, 20% on all of your infantry units, but 30% on the big boys that we care about the most, gutter runners and night runners. But that is very, very, very huge because they're going to be the mainstay of your army. Now, as you progress through this, you really want to focus on your pestilence buildings, and you wouldn't think so, right? You're thinking, okay, well, I'm Clan Eshin. Why don't I just bum rush all the Clan Eshin units? Well, you have to do, for one, you have to do the Clan Pestilence buildings to get access to some of the better Clan Eshin units, and you need the Clan Pestilence buildings to get access to the better Clan Eshin technologies. So for one, Virulent Plans here, that's from the, this construction, I'm sorry, this is one. Oppressive Plans is from the Assassin's Hideout, right? But it's not just that. You need record effective recipes, and that is all going to be coming down to you from the Clan Pestilence buildings. So you need to go through Virulent Plans and whatnot to get here. So, but once you get over here, Rule Through Fear is going to be so strong for you. Best of the Best is going to help out with your Death Runners and Eshin Triads. So you really want this as best as you can, or as fast as you can, because these are the two abilities that you're going to use the most. Now, everything else, it's really going to be at your own discretion, really. Go whatever you feel fits the best for your technology tree, but these two, Best of the Best, Rule Through Fear, and Hit and Run are the big technologies that I would focus on for a Clan Eshin playthrough. Now, as far as your buildings, we were talking about this just a little bit, but you do want to focus mainly through your hidden layer, getting all the way through these assassins to get your Eshin Triads. Now, you can see here, where is this building? It focuses on it when you highlight on one of them. Aha, there it is. There, aha. So when you get the gutter runners with poison, you do need the Pestilent Knave. So you want to build a Pox Cauldron and a Pestilent Knave as fast as you can. All things permitted, though. Don't hamstring your own personal growth. By that I mean your empire, to get to the Pestilent Knave. You're only in the first 20 turns of the game, so focus mainly on gutter runners and gutter runner slingers, as well as death or night runners and night runner slingers before you worry about the poison variant. Get there once you've really cemented your own empire, and then you can worry about those. So really what I just told you is more of like a turn 30 to 40 bracket move, and less so of a turn 20 or first 20, but it's just to kind of be mindful of that when you are progressing through this campaign. You want to make sure you're building out those skills, or I'm sorry, those buildings as you see fit for your army. And we'll go through the army in the latter portion here as well. So now that we have our technology secure, we've beat our first army, we have our first building created, let's go ahead and end our turn. We'll make some, we'll probably just make some generic slaves just to add some additional firepower. End our first turn. Now, we'll see if we get a little bit of a diplomacy thing here. I was saving diplomacy for the latter portion of this video, but we'll see what happens. Now, of course, your big first enemies are going to be, go ahead and click ownership here, the Land of the Dervishes with Sudenburg, and that's going to be the thing you're going to focus on the most. You want them out of the fight by turn like 5 or 6 if you can. And then it's going to be the dwarfs. Once you can do that, you're going to really cement this whole area and keep it in your rule very, very tightly. I made the mistake of jumping over here to the Gulf, over the Gulf of Meds to the Death's Head monoliths. I don't recommend it. And also, I do not recommend jumping for Bel Aliad as fast as you can. I know it's tempting. I know they're just ruins and they're aching to be settled, but don't do it, because if you do this, you're going to put yourself over here. Is this Thegan's? Yeah, in the way of Thegan's errantry. If you put yourself down here, you're going to have Tic-Tac-Toe, who's just going to be knocking on your door. I said knick-knacking on your door. Now, what I would do here is just go immediately knock out these Elven Ruins. We'll see what happens as far as... yeah, okay, we can auto-resolve that too. I was hoping it would just be auto-resolvable. I like to spend enough... You won't have as low food because I jumped my food up to help out with my auto-resolve, but I like to get this to a tier 2 immediately. And the reason behind that is, if you do that, you already have your port there. You'll be able to build into other things right out the gate, and I think that that's a very strong move. So I would go for growth. Growth is always a really strong one. Pair that. And we'll hold off on that because of what I want to do before we expand out is get some more Night Runners. We'll go with 2 of these, or 1 of those and 2 of these. And the reason I've got so many slingers is because I prefer to just have a lot of ranged. You don't need to go that route. This this initial portion isn't as heavy on the army composition because you're just fighting a lot of weak AI right now. Again, we're going through Ancient Cunning, and again through here we're going to be focusing on the Toxic Rain. So this is really a good point to kind of show you, we've got enough money, we can do that now. Cool. This gives you a really good idea on where you're going to be at already on these first initial turns. We've already destroyed their leadership, so we have to get back over to Sudenburg quickly. This is only turn 3, so we're coming into turn 3, and we want to get the jump on the Empire as fast as we can, so they don't get a chance to really get girthy. Yes, I know, there's so many things. There is so many things. So what we'll do is, we're just gonna, here's a little trick. If you don't know to do this, click this button here, click your faction, put it to fastest. There. I do the same thing. I turn off all the cameras for everything, fastest for everything. Enemies, allies, neutral, all of it gets this treatment. It just kind of helps your individual turns and the end turn times speed up a little bit because you're not dealing with the camera jolting around to watch that. There's a mod that'll actually save that for you. Okay, so I didn't march here because I want to do 3 more Night Runners. But next turn, we will march towards Sudenburg as fast as we can. Again, you want to get the jump on them as quickly as you can. And we're going to cover, I know you saw the contracts thing, we're going to cover that in the latter portion because it helps because I can show you a little bit where I've progressed. Speed. We're going to push ourselves right here. Get this guy his little level again. I would go with Armor of Darkness. You can go with Skitter Leap, but the nice thing about Warp Stars and Armor of Darkness is they're very low in Winds of Magic cost, and it'll help Toxic Rain to continuously stay on the battlefield for you. We'll do that in that turn. And those new end turn times are like 3.5 seconds, so then we'll come down to this. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to auto-resolve this. I might have to stop this portion and jump over to the future part, but let's see what happens. I'll just jack this up to see if I can get it to... Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, well, we did lose this, but you would be fighting that in real time. You wouldn't be doing an auto-resolve. But once you do that and beat Sudenburg, by turn 5, you should have secured your first initial portion of the game. So what I want to do now is jump over to a further point in the story about turn 30, and we'll show you where my campaign's at. Alright, so here we are on turn 30 of a Deathmaster Snikch campaign, and I'll give you an idea of where we've kind of come with everything. So for one, let's just talk about the general campaign direction. Once you take care of Sudenburg and you secure the Land of Dervishes, your next goal should be to knock out the dwarfs. You can have a lot of value off of attacking dwarfs by using an army that is comprised mainly of gutter runners and night runners. Again, that's your primary focus anyway, so you want to be able to use this right, the sudden kill scheme. This is going to help you knock out that really big durable dwarf doom stack that you're going to deal with. Also, use the dominating scheme once you've secured both of these provinces to really help them grow and help out that public order. You're going to deal with public order issues. And you can also use the 13th scheme to help out if you're trying to really get some good assassination work done, if you're trying to ally with some of the Skaven, which you will discover through the Skaven contract system. Or you can use the revitalizing scheme if you are in a situation where you've sent a lot of your characters out on contract and they're no longer present. This is a great way to get your armies back at full health and to bring all wounded and recovering characters to the faction. So it's a nice way to kind of get a jump start on things. You need to research 5 technologies before you can get there. So once you do that, once you've secured everything, take a look at my income. I'm like 3,600. I'm on turn 30, and I have a full army here. So you get a sense for, you have a lot of value. You get the Elven Ruins and Sudenburg, both have ports in them. You get Bel Aliad itself, which has a gold mine, the Eye of the Panther, which has gemstones. There are so many ways to really cascade when it comes to income in the Clan Eshin campaign. So do not think you will be hurting for money. You have a lot of value. So once you take care of the dwarfs, push west, just close off your back. There's no reason to be fighting a war possibly on 2 fronts. Go west, knock out everything over here. That includes Ark in the Black. That's a mistake I made in this campaign that I want to show you guys. Kill him as fast as you can. Once you deal with the dwarfs, you're better off just to beeline for him. The AI doesn't play him very well, So killing him is only going to make your position stronger with some of your diplomacy targets. And we'll talk about that next right now. Because keep in mind too, if you knock out these guys, the Knights of the Flame, Vegans, or Origio over here, you're reducing the amount of confederation that can happen for response. So you want to get rid of that fast. So taking a look at diplomacy, this is also, we're also going to talk about basically your natural allies, more or less. So I made the mistake again of going with followers of Nagash, and that's not a good idea. Why is that not a good idea? Because you do not want to deal with Big Daddy Cetra. He will just come over with that paddle and just smack your rat ass. So you actually, the game wants you to like kind of say, oh yeah, hey, here's a natural affinity with Arkan. No. Turn that down. Shut him down for everything. In fact, if you go and kill him, you get a bonus for the campaign. His actual ability will give you a 20, 30, or 40. I can't remember actually. There's a sizable amount of Tomb King diplomacy bonus that you'll get. So you want to get that fast and then secure Khemri as an ally. You don't want to fight them. You want to keep them on your good side. You want to be able to pretty much secure this portion of the coast of Araby, the land of assassins, and the land of dervishes. You don't need the Great Desert. Only take what the Bretonnians have. So once you secure and kill off Arkan the Black, destroy all the Bretonnians. You basically want to have this whole portion of the Southlands to yourself. And then from there, sky's the limit. Do whatever you want. Have the direction of the campaign that you want to go for. But I think that's your first natural progression, because otherwise you're just going to be dealing with aggression from the Bretonnians, and you might as well just not deal with that noise. But Khemri is a really good natural ally. Outside of that, another good set of natural allies, which I don't have discovered here, are actually all of the Vampire Coast. If you can get a hold of Luther Harkin by sending an assassin over here, sending assassins up to both Sartosa and the Galleon's Graveyard, they are naturally inclined to be your allies, so you might as well take advantage of it. You can do the same thing with Dark Elves, but it can get pretty tricky because your actual objective is to kill Malice Darkblade. So pick and choose your Dark Elf allies if you want to go down that route. But your big focus should be Khemri and the vampires. You can focus as well on some of the other Skaven clans, but you'll have issues with them once you go into contracts and shadowy dealings. So now that we've kind of talked about the campaign direction, we've gone into diplomacy, we've talked about technology, and here you can see my technology tree if you so wish. I made the mistake of not doing hit and run, so I'm catching up now to do that. So that's a mistake I made in my campaign that I'm trying to tell you guys not to make. So let's go into the army a little bit. And my army setup is a little regrettable. I think the best way to do this is 5 Eshin Triad units. That'll bring you up to your 5 of 20. Then I want you to do, or hopefully you will do, 5 Gutter Runners with Poison Slings. That'll bring you up to 10. And that leaves you, again, 10 more slots to fill. So you're obviously going to have Snikch. There's your 11. Then you're going to have a Eshin Sorcerer. That's 12. Yeah, that's an Eshin Sorcerer. Now your 13th unit should be an Assassin. And the reason behind that is Grand Night Lord's Agitator. Plus 8 to the melee attack for embedded heroes. And I believe that some of these help out with heroes as well. There's another one on here that helps out with heroes. But you naturally get a lot of bonuses for your hero or assassin units. And you can get very high rank assassins. So you might as well have one in this army that is solely dedicated to either shutting down other agents through assassination if they get close to your army, or just outright killing the Lord with Snikch alongside. So take advantage of that as much as you can. Get that 13th unit in there for the assassin. Now from there, I think you should fill out with Gutter Runners with Poison, just your standard Gunner Runners, to get some good melee options in there. To mix them in, of course, with your triads. Now, using Warp Grinders, Rattling Guns, any combination thus of, those last 7 things, go wild with it. My recommendation is the Warlock Engineer, because it stacks very well with the amount of range damage you're going to be doing from your Night Runners and your Gutter Runners. Standard Firing Drill is going to help out with the reload reduction. Arms Dealer is going to give them an increase to your ammunition. And then Triangulation is going to help out with a missile damage of 12% across the entire army. And if they're already running 30% faster, you'll just be able to do so much damage in a tanking situation, or I'm sorry, in a kiting situation. In addition to, you get Warp Lightning, which is very strong. Now that kind of like squares us off for your army. Again, your army, after you kind of get those first 13 things in, go crazy with the final 7. This is what your army should probably look like at the end of around 20-30 turns before you start jumping into those Pestilent Knave abilities, the Clan Pestilent abilities that will help you out. One of the last things I want to go into here are the sneaky schemes and the contracts. So let's bring that menu up once more. Sneaky schemes, is that what I called it? So, for one, we'll talk about the big one. This is integral for your campaign. You cannot complete the campaign if you do not do this. And the way this works is, you select Deathmaster Snikch, and he disappears from the map for 2 turns. It'll randomly spawn an army that is looking for Deathmaster Snikch to kill. So basically, you do this whenever you really see a natural lull in your campaign. I just did the last one right after this point when I took over all the dwarfs, and I had no natural enemies right now, so I figured, hey, this is a good time to do it. Now, the reason you do it, aside from completing your campaign, is that it gives you an additional scheme to use. Using those schemes is going to allow you to use further down this list, all the way towards the end with Plunge into Anarchy, which we'll go into in just a sec. But the Shadowy dealings, you can use anything that is Eshin associated, as long as it's a lord or a hero. So this is a campaign that really focuses on using as many lords as you can. I've got, what, only 1 Master Assassin now? I thought I had 3. So I've got 1 Master Assassin, I've got 1 Assassin, and 1 Sorcerer. So all of them can do these dealings. Now you can keep using Assassins, because once you send them on sending them on a clan contract, which we'll talk about in a bit, you don't have to pay the upkeep for them. So getting as many Master Assassins and Assassins on the table is a really good idea, because it allows you to do a lot more contracts at a faster rate, and you don't have to juggle as much. But doing some of these are really strong. Big Heist is such a good one. I think it's like 5,000 for that one. Small Heist will give you 1,000 gold immediately, and you can get stash rations to help out with resetting all of your schemes. Whereas the food rate is going to help you out with a bonus to your food. So you can really have a lot of really fun options to use with these actions. And again, it's going to level up your characters. Look at my sorcerer. He's level 13 because I've just been pumping so many actions into him. Now, clan contracts are a little bit different. Remember, clan contracts are going to affect these 4 bars. These 4 bars coincide with each one of the major clans, or the warlord clans of Clan Eshin. Clan Pestilence, Clan Molder, Clan Scryer, and Clan Pestilence. This is Moors, sorry. So basically, you are going to click a Master Assassin. I'm going to click Spy on Clan Molder, and I'm going to see that it's going to increase my Clan Pestilence reputation by 10 and decrease Molder by 5. So basically, you know that you're going to be able to pretty much do these as you see fit. There's no optimal way to do it. It's whatever you prefer. I know that Lore Master of Sotek and myself, Lore Master of Sotek helped me out a lot with some of these campaign tips. We kind of just put our heads together. So if you haven't, please go check out his channel. He has a lot of amazing playthroughs of campaign. He's one of the best campaign players I've ever personally met. I'll be linking to his channel in the description as a thank you, and I'll be giving him another thank you at the end of this video. But Scryer is one of the ones I never want in the negative, because I hate research rate penalties. I hate them so much. But you don't get the major bonus until you reach the top level of their reputation line. So even if you get all the way up here, you're getting a recruitment cost reduction, which is the big thing, obviously. But you don't get a big like faction-wide bonus until you get to the very top. Now, the reason, though, you want to climb each one of these ladders is because, let's say you want more clan rats. Well, you're going to want to go up clan Moors, because each one of these is 100, 200, 220% bonuses or penalties to your recruitment cost, depending if you're positive or negative. Or I'm sorry, it's only a reduction. So you'll have the standard cost for clan rats at the revered tier, but if you get to the next one, you get a 20% discount. So basically, the only way to get your units at a normal cost is getting to revered with the respective clan. So this is how you can focus down whatever pathway you want to build your armies. If for those last 7 slots I was talking about, you want to just fill it to the brim with Scryer units, you want to get revered with Scryer as fast as you can. And again, just kind of do the pros and cons of all of these before you get into the negative with them. I personally think that Scryer's is the most punishing because of the research rate, but also when you take a look at this one, food generation is pretty punishing too for Molder. So I would never get Scryer low. I would get Molder low sometimes. With the other two, that's just public order and construction costs. So I don't find those as difficult depending on the difficulty you are playing at. So guys, hopefully this helps you out when you are dealing with your clan Eshin playthrough. This is really only the first 20 turns, and from there, sky's the limit. The last thing here is the plunge into anarchy, which will outright kill a faction. So I would save this for very last. You can use this on Malekith or Malice Darkblade to really help you out with your faction, trying to get the upper hand on things, because remember, your objective here is to destroy the following faction, Hag Grafe, and then win the following battle, Rise of Darkness. So do your quick little rituals, and you can kill Hag Grafe whenever you get to that certain situation in your shadowy dealings, and you can really just kind of steamroll this campaign. I do not feel like this is a very hard campaign. I feel like you can really get the upper hand on it quickly in the beginning portions, and once you do, you'll just value train and steamroll from there. If you have any questions, guys, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. More than happy to help out. We will be doing 3 of these videos. This is just the first of 3. The other one will cover Malice Darkblade, and the other one will also cover Rapunzel de Leonesse. If you do plan on picking up Shadow and the Blade and you haven't just yet, go ahead and click the link in my description to Fanatical Games. It'll give you a Steam key, and I will get a small commission of that. It's a great way to support the channel on a pretty minimally invasive kind of way. And one final shout out here to Loremaster Sotek. He helped me out again with compiling some of these thoughts into a more organized kind of set way and easier to follow understanding, I guess you could say. He's an amazing campaign player, and he streams campaign all the time. So please go and check out his channel, his Twitch. It'll be linked in the first comment below, in the pinned comment. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one, and good luck with your Eshin Sorcerer or Eshin playthrough campaign.